It falls to me to speak to you this morning about peace, the end game of all spiritual practice. It has not been a peaceful season. It will not be a peaceful season to come, not in the way that we are accustomed to thinking about peace. It is a time for showing up, engagement, standing on the front lines of justice, speaking up, learning more, challenging ourselves. And if we are unable to engage in any of those ways, it is a time for being a prayer warrior. And yet we know that peace is an imperative. It's a central aspect of spiritual health that grounds all of our efforts in goodness. So what does peace look and feel like in a historical moment that is going to demand of all of us engagement and steady attention to things we'd rather ignore? Let's work our way around that question and see if we can't get at some truth. I attended worship recently at the Lutheran Church in Lynn. And we got to that part of the traditional Protestant service where the pastor invites everybody to pass the peace. And it's kind of awkward to do this when you don't know anyone, but you really can't skip it. Just sit there looking at your cell phone like, I'm good. So I gave and received a lot of handshakes, and I said, peace be with you, peace, peace, peace. And as we did this, I thought about what we were saying, because I wasn't engaging with friends, so I wasn't really, I was just thinking about, what does this mean? What am I wishing? What are we wishing each other when we say peace, peace be with you? I just knew that I wanted to try to make eye contact with every single person. And it was really interesting to note how many people did make eye contact, but not everybody did. It's just kind of funny. Some people were like, peace, and shyness or for whatever reason. It was just interesting, but I really wanted to focus, really peace. I really mean it. I wish you peace. We both need it so much. The peace that passeth understanding, as it says in the Bible. The peace that feels like a rock under your life. The peace which the world can neither give nor take away. Imagine possessing a peace that nothing in the world can take from you. Now that is a peace that I wish for all of us, and it is a peace that is a lifetime in the making. In the past week, I noticed myself having a really strong compulsion to pay off my student loans right away. Just very strange, almost like an obsession. I kept going to the Mohalo website, they're my current overlords, and checking my balance and putting on my calendar when I was going to pay this balance. It was just very strange behavior. So because I am engaged in spiritual direction, it always teaches you to ask, what is that about? I realized that it was my need to have a sense of security. Now, I should know better. How many stories have we heard growing up in all our lives? Those stories about the legendary king or queen, or like a King Midas, the characters who amass extraordinary wealth and power, thinking that they're going to at last achieve peace because they have secured a fortune. Security is a good feeling. It says, me and mine are going to be fine. My passport is up to date. My bank account is well padded. I have a roof over my head with no leaks in it. My latest physical gave me, a gold star of health. I am a wonderful specimen. But you and I know that security is a rug that can be pulled out from under us at any time. The market crashes. The rogue blood clot moves through the leg, and a stroke leaves you speechless. The roof blows off in a hurricane. And where do we find our peace when that happens. I believe that we start to find the peace that passeth understanding when we know at all times exactly who we are and whose we are. How do you find peace after being blasted in the face on a freezing night by water cannons shot by the United States government for protecting your children's right to clean water? How do you find your peace, your centered, your groundedness again when your movement for peace, your protest for peace is called terrorism by those who want to intimidate and silence you and maintain the current order? How does peace prevail in the midst of outrage? This is not a hypothetical question. It is a very real question that I put to us as people of faith who are called to engage with outrage and to suffer outrages with the oppressed, not to stand to the side in the security that we mistake for peace. You hear what I'm saying? Where are we going to find our peace when our faith tradition's imperative to welcome the stranger and love our Muslim, our immigrant, our transgender, our Jewish neighbor as ourselves comes up against some misguided soul's violent belief that those same people are a dangerous threat? The peace that passeth understanding, which the world can neither give nor take away, comes from knowing exactly who you are. Our corporate peace as a people comes from knowing exactly who we are. It comes from being able to return at all times and in every struggle to that knowledge, to that rock. And that wholeness is not self-righteousness. It's just truth. Who are you? Whose are you? What is worth living for? What do we want to show our children about life that is worth living? The tradition of passing the peace in churches began a long time ago as a moment in the liturgy when members of the congregation who were in conflict with one another could have a moment so that they could have a moment of reconciliation before receiving communion. Interesting, because what it presumes is that when you're in community, there's going to be some conflict, first of all. And it's a community repairing moment. It doesn't do all the heavy lifting, of course, but it's a symbol. It's a moment that says, before we come to do the sacrament of bread and wine that represents love, again, this is in the traditional church, I'm wishing you peace. And even if I can't do that authentically, it's really hard to keep hating someone's guts when you actually are holding their hand and maybe looking into their face. It's hard to dehumanize them in that moment. So it's a great start, that act of touching someone and remembering, oh yeah, this is a person too, with one life and one body and one flesh and one struggle, just like mine. So when I was at that Lutheran church, I didn't have any conflict with anybody there because I don't need to reconcile with anyone. I don't know them, not that I know of anyway. But I did so much have the need to connect with other people who have this ridiculous belief that blessing each other with peace is a great idea to do, at least once a week. And you can do it anywhere. I think it's a really nice idea. Take it everywhere. My two main teachers of peace practice are Jesus of Nazareth and Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Vietnamese Buddhist priest. He's been a peace activist since the Vietnam War. He was actually accused of being a communist at that time, and he suffered greatly for his peace activism. So if you want to experience security A crucified Jewish activist and a Vietnamese monk who was exiled by his country for peace work are not the guys you want to listen to. They will not pay off your loans, pad your stock portfolio, get you a nice car. They won't. But if you want to experience peace, these guys know what they're talking about. I'm going to start with Jesus and some of his greatest hits that I refer to very frequently. And one is his beautiful statement, "My peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." And this is my go-to spiritual mantra about peace because, first of all, it makes me very aware that my peace is something that I can share with others. Jesus is modeling something there. My peace I give to you. Okay, so our peace is something we can give to others. This teaching also pinpoints fear and worrying as things that interfere with peace. So I really appreciate that guidance. If we seek peace, this teaching suggests, a good first step might be to acknowledge and sit with our fear and our agitation, because they're there. To acknowledge and respect where we are. I am afraid, I am agitated, I am upset and troubled. When Jesus gave that particular teaching, he was on the verge of being betrayed, arrested, and killed. So it's not like he didn't know about fear. That was not a hypothetical for him when he gave that teaching. And so how to deal with that fear and that agitation? Well, here's where I turn to Buddhist teaching. In sitting with and acknowledging the fear, we observe it. And we don't have to enter into it or get into a whole story about it. And that is the heart of meditation practice, focusing on the present moment, staying in the present moment to avoid the emotional spin out that has us imagining worst case scenarios for whatever we're dealing with, projecting ourselves into the future. Oh my God, this is going to happen, and then this will happen, and then he'll say this, and then this will happen, and she'll do this, and it's all going to be ruined. That's a spin out. You can also have a past spin out. And then he said that, and then I said that, and I can't believe I said that, and oh my God, I'm so angry, and if I could, shame, I'm so embarrassed. I'm replaying. You can have a spin out, replaying things in your imagination. Thich Nhat Hanh uses this mantra, or he taught this mantra. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. This is how we wage peace. Through these quiet, private practices that ground and undergird our actions and relationships and activism. This is how we wage peace, by affirming and reaffirming who we are and what we think is worth living for. This is how we wage peace, by talking about and defining in community who we are as a people, clarifying that vision and living into it, all the while breathing in, knowing that we're not in control, and breathing out, calming our bodies and smiling. Breathing in, we know who we are. Breathing in, you know that the world cannot give you that or take it away. Breathing out, we smile because it's an amazing thing to know exactly who you are. Breathing out, we smile because we can choose every moment, in every encounter, and in every decision to express who we are. Friends, I encourage all of us to wage peace a word that we may not have previously associated with passion, intensity, and action. Put peace into your passion and passion into your peace. Put peace at the center of these outrageous days, at the center of this sometimes overwhelming season. And when you achieve its presence and its blessing, please, won't you give some of it away?